Yeah, welcome back to the court one of, and we're here for the last semi-final. No, sorry, we're on the 5 versus 6, Australia versus Great Britain. Australia will be white, Great Britain is black. This playoff is for 5th and 6th place for the standings for the next World Championships in Sheffield, Stuart. And joining me is Parko the man.
Oh, thank you very much for that very kind introduction there, Dave. As usual, it's definitely your pleasure to be joining me here in the commentary box. As you can see, this first half kicking off. Australia under 23 men lining up against the GB under 23 women. And I think I might be coming through a little bit quiet at the moment. Is that correct or not? It just looks like I'm actually registered. There we go. There you go. My voice is definitely louder now on the little green indicator as the guys drive the near side court. And we see here the Aussies coming in on a 45, back into the centre channel right at the start of the highway to the danger zone. Out the other side they go. Under pressure by the GB lads all the way to the tray, and the puck is in the goals. The crowd goes wild. We're waiting to see if it's confirmed. That's correct. It's number 12, I believe. Yeah. So number 12 is who there, Dave?
Evan Wang from New South Wales scores first goal.
What an early treat in this playoff 5 for 5th position. Just Wang bringing it home for the boys. First goal for Evan Wang there. And Wang is in the house, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see the subs go and the team set up for this great game here, Dave.
Absolutely, and it's almost a full capacity house out there, Stuart. The crowd is still building. The Australians streaming in to watch this 5 and 6. I think it's 5 versus 6. So if Australia win, they move to 5th spot on the ladder, and if they lose, they go to number 6. As Great Britain look like they're trying to pressure and get that early back goal back by Evan Wang. Scored that one.
Yeah, so we've got a stick infringement call here on the GB guys.
Against Australia.
For the GB guys, I should say, against Australia in the attacking half of the GB team. It still looks to me like I'm coming through.
Yeah, you're not getting. I can't really get much from my headphones. Use the other mic for court number.
Start talking, Dave.
Stuart's been dead silent, and everybody's wondering why. I turned his mic off. Nah, just kidding. He's back here. You back with us now, Stuart?
Damn it, all those quality calls, and now I think I'm going too loud. So again, an infringement against the Australians. The GB guys will get the advantage here. My apologies there, everyone looking in on this game there. I had my mic off, which is a seriously rookie error for someone that's been doing this for 8 days straight. It's certainly going to be a fine as the GB guys press the attack. The Australians are driving it straight out into the centre channel there. The GB guys rocking and rolling on the left-hand side of this attacking area there. Aussies doing a good amount of defence, deep in their defence. It doesn't get much deeper than that, ladies and gents. So the referee's calling another infringement. This time it's gloving against GB, and the Aussies get a little bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card there, Dave.
Absolutely. Under pressure. They popped the first one early with Evan scoring that goal, but GB has come back firing. They're not going to let him off the hook, and they're testing the Australians out. Australians do get in a reprieve as they set up, look to where they take it, and they've taken it to the safety zone, and they're moving, driving up the puck, and there he is again. That was Evan Wang trying to drive it out. Good drive, Evan, and full support right behind him, and that I'm sure that was number 11. That wasn't Tom, was it? That was Mitch Piccoli there, son of our friend Arnie in WA, a long-time Australian player.
Yeah, Mitch Piccoli just laying down some of his old man's stick candy type behaviour on the bottom of the pool here. As this game continues, GB lads, putting their own little stamp on this game at the moment as the buzzer goes. You can see the players come to the surface. It's a chopping infringement or a stick infringement. No, sorry, that's an illegal knockdown by the Aussies. So even though they caught that knockdown, it was obviously with something other than the stick. So the GB lads will get an advantage puck in deep attack, deep defence for the Aussies. You can see them driving a 45 into the highway to the danger zone. Unfortunately, they're met there at the start of the highway by the Australian defenders, and you can see they're trying to get a nice sweep, and they go on a good 45 drive out to the left-hand side. A la Nick Young a little bit there, Dave.
Yeah, he was sort of cruising out there, looking for his support players, trying to catch up. He was unwilling to take the break because he had been down, but here comes the support players, and they are looking to support it, and it looks like I'd say that's number 1, Tom Milner. He sort of let the boy go, and Tom, number 6, Martin John Turner, turning up the puck, trying to link up with his forwards, but unfortunately, number 4, Cameron Lewis, just said, no, I'll have that, and I'll put it back in there as Josh McKenzie looks for the Milkman, and the Milkman is surrounded totally by 4 GBs there, Stuart.
Yeah, the big milk, Tom Milner, just getting sort of sandwiched there by a whole bunch of friendly attention from the GB guys. You can see GB getting told off here for a bit of excessive hugging. He's going to have to go in the bin for getting a bit friendly. Dan Parslow pinged for excessive hugging there by the referees. The refs aren't that keen on too much friendliness happening in the water during the game there, Dave.
No, absolutely not. And as number 7, Dan, does his little penguin walk back in there, he doesn't have the nagees on, so he didn't slide smoothly into the seat. He had to jump down there hard, bless us. The Australians pressuring on the goal. It's good to see that now, teams with 4, and it looks like it was awful close to the goal tray. As no, it was knocked off, as we see in the referees that saw something. Now he's pointing at number 9, and that was Andreas. Sorry, mate, you sort of stopped that puck, and the Great Britons get a free advantage here, Stuart.
Yeah, you can see there as this GB team gets another advantage puck in their deep defence on the right-hand far side for them, the left-hand side for the Aussies. You can see the Aussies setting up to meet them on the far wall there, and the contest continues. No one's dictating the flow of the play, and as I say that, the Australians do exactly that as they drive on the outside far left-hand wall there for them, bringing the puck back around, getting met in the middle by the GB team. A nice little push-pull going on there by the Aussies and a recycle into the start of the highway to the danger zone in that centre channel. GB pretty good at getting that puck back and driving out to that far side. A quick shout-out to Hydro Underwater Hockey Gear. If you're looking for your own type of stick candy, glove candy, face candy, hat candy, get on their website and buy all that good underwater hockey candy that you can find there, please. They're a major supporter of this tournament, giving us $550, the record so far for the donations. If you want to donate yourself, get on to GoFundMe.com/Hobart2017. And lastly, a shout-out to Tom Milner for doing all the amazing overlays that you see here on this live feed, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done a smashing job on here. Makes it easy for the technical people in here who set up all the scoreboard. And a good shout out for them. And joining us this time is young Harry, an avid underwater hockey player in Tasmania and Hobart, and he's running the Camels, doing a fantastic job. But there's just probably one thing I'll get him to fix, because we're not in overtime yet. And yes, he's noticed that, and he's actually working on it as you speak, but he's having a little technical difficulties as the Australians continue to press. And as we see the overlay for Hydro Underwater Hockey, a good supporter. Big shout out for them as putting some money in the till. Really appreciate that, Liam, and good on you, buddy. Yeah, you're part of the big family here and always will be, and good for supporting as the Great Britain teams have been asked to back up because it looked like a bit of a stick infringement, Stuart.
Yeah, a little bit of back up the Tonka truck. Thank you there, Nat. Aussies get an advantage puck in their deep attack on the left-hand side. Pretty hard to score from here with 6 players to get through. We'll see how the Aussies go as they take this advantage puck coming in a 45 into the centre channel at the very start, I'd say, of the highway to the danger zone, but quite congested at the moment. That puck getting a lot of attention by both teams. The Aussies putting it into the tray, but unfortunately they've been given a don't argue, no thank you from the referees for a stick infringement there, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. Bad luck on that, but I'm sure the Great Britons are wiping their brows, saying, "Geez, thank goodness we can get out of that danger zone." And the 3 meters, the Australians have been put back, looking at a very tight forward attack, and then spread in the back line to cover whatever the Great Britons come up. And again, they take it to their away from the danger zone into the side of the pool. But I've noticed throughout the tournament, too, Stewie, that Great Britain plays a very small, narrow channel. And I think the Australians need to capitalize on a lot better by, taking it out there, making the compressors out. And once you get it on the side, they're very good at rotating it through. And as Australians lay it back and tried to feed some of their players, but that was knocked down, and the Great Britons swim it away, Stuart.
Yeah, nice little release swim here by GB, taken all the way to the near side court. Met there by some support. You can see the Aussies trying to counteract that movement as they bring it off the wall, back on a 45 into the middle. Chased down by a GB attacker there, but a nice little sort of give-go flick, sort of 1-2 pass. Aussies having to contest that puck at the moment in this centre channel, trying to bust through the lines of the GB structure, but unfortunately for them, the GB lads pretty strong at the moment as the buzzer goes and the refs call another stick infringement on GB there, Dave.
Yeah, that they're sort of ranking up their stick infringements and some of their hugging, and I'm not sure how long the referees will tolerate, but the Australians set up. They need to start doing little moves around the GBs, try and stop taking it straight at them, trying to segment it. And we see the Australians gobble them up in the middle of the pool. We've got a release 3-on-1 situation, and it's been knocked in, but looks like by the milkman. But the Great Britain has defended it, and
so just select.
And we've got the referees. We got 1 goal signal. We've got 2 goal signal number, and the number is number 4. Cameron Lewis, one of the backline plays, a local boy in Hobart. It's good to see. He's been working really hard, Stuart, on his training physique to get. He's a nice, long, lanky, strong boy, and he has a bit of a lot of knee injuries, as the Great Britain team has called a timeout. And shout out to Cameron, because as someone who's been on the deck watching his progression, he's made a lot of good progression, and his heart was put into this tournament, Stuart.
Yeah, he's done a great job, as you can see the GB lads on the far wall there, having a chat to their coach. Interestingly, Cam, I think he was having a few issues with his knees, and you can see his knees in the game. They're seriously taped up. So well done for Cam for seeing this competition through under duress, so to speak. 30 seconds to go in this timeout here. Australia leading the GB lads 2-0. Both teams looking pretty dangerous at times. Both teams moving the puck around. And a lot of good competition getting laid down here. So as we see the last 15 seconds getting down there, what I'm seeing at the moment, Dave, the Aussies managing to get a fair few linked passes together and finding a fair bit of space in this game early on.
Yeah, they are. I just think the passes are just either a bit short. That means the person receiving is probably just a little bit too far away, and they're not getting good flicks away. So they need to tighten that up, and so they can actually get on it straight away to make a secondary move. And also, once they get the puck, they actually have to swim around the Great Britons, not try to take them with a headbutt, and then gets to be a bit of hand skills come into a play there, Stuart.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a little friendly headbutt every now and again. Obviously, the referees don't like too much of it going on there, but every now and again it's nice to just sort of touch heads, a bit of a tip of the hat to the opposition players on the bottom of the pool there, and give them the nod, and just let them know that you care about them on the bottom. It's always nice to get a little bit of friendly, competitive love from the opposition. As you can see, when there's a little bit too much of that, a lot of people have been getting sent out during this competition for excessive hugging. No one likes too much of a hug. Nothing worse, nothing more awkward than a hug that goes for too long. Long enough is good, but especially if there's a bit of a pat on the back. But a hug that just sort of lingers there, it just sort of turns awkward, I think, and no one likes that. So not surprising that you get sent in for that, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely, and I totally agree with you. There's nothing. I think the referees just don't tolerate the eye lock. When the two teams do their head blotch, they sort of look for that eye lock, and they certainly don't like that. As the referees have asked the Australians to back up, and the Great Britain have an advantage puck here as the Australian defense moves into attack. We got the Great Britons need to rally here and start putting some pressure on that back line if they have any chance to score a goal with 3 minutes remaining in this game. The Australian in white have 2 goals. The Great Britons have 0 in the first half of this men's under 23s 5 versus 6 playoff, Stuart.
Yeah, it's a good contest at the moment. As you can see, Hydro Underwater Hockey again getting flashed up there on the screen. Thank you very much for your support, Hydro. Nice to see people tuning in on the live chat. Shane Blake telling me, thankfully, that I was too quiet. Hopefully the volume's coming through loud and clear now, Shane. Graham Henderson saying, go boys, to the Aussie lads. Thank you very much for all your support there, Graham, being a long-time supporter, aficionado of not only underwater hockey but the Australian Underwater Federation. So thank you, Graham, for tuning in. And also Graham's basically our second highest donator of this competition, giving $500 to the cause. So thanks there, Hendo. Catalina saying hi, Keith Midson, barracking for the Aussie lads here and saying, awesome lads, well done. Todd Canavan getting in on the in the mix.
And can I just say something, Stu? I'm
Sure.
sure Keith Mitson out there. Keith will be saying, boys, just bring on the berserker.
Yeah, that's right. He doesn't mind a bit of a berserker action, that's for sure. A little bit of a long time berserker member, perhaps even a lifetime berserker member, I would say. And a shout out to Gary Davidson as well, our recently departed good friend of ours that was also part of the berserkers team there. We miss you, Gaz. As this game continues, buzzer goes. 2-0 up Australia, leading GB. It's against the GB lads against Australia this time. GB lads will get an advantage puck just over the halfway line for them there, Dave.
Yeah, with 1 minute less to play. And it's good to see Keith back in the pool. He's had a bit of a hiatus since his staunch in the Australian team. He's back in the pool, putting in the miles as the Great Britain teams pressure that back wall, and we got. And he's pressuring as the Australian defense is trying to hold stat and chase that puck down. We got some ripping and curling, and that looks like Ben Stavaskovich there doing it. And he's returned it back, and number 4, Cameron Lewis, has braced it out, and we got someone there, number 5. That'll be Barnesy, Alex Barnes. Makeo's got the puck, looked for his support, and dropped it back to Cameron, who's trying to make a drive up the pool. They have a bit of bottleneck underneath the Australian bench. The Australians looking to sub some fresh guys into there so they can get it out of there. As they do that, they're joined by number 12, the Wangman, and the Wangman. As we see, the Great Britons are bottling up the Australians there as a rotation with Josh McKenzie, the captain. And we have Richard Cleary looking to hold on to that puck as number 4 from Great Britain. Rupert Ironside is trying to stop him from doing it as the ref pull it up for half time. And what an exciting first half we've had. It was sort of somewhat dominated by the Australians to open it up. They popped in 2 unanswered goals against the Great Britain. Great Britain has bounced back and put some about the last 3 minutes pressure on the Australian back line, testing them out as we draw the close. They'll get back to each walls. They'll do some breathing. They'll relax it, and we'll just see what happens for the second half. Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. Second half coming up. 2.5 minutes remaining in this timeout. Australia leading the GB lads 2-0 in a close contest so far. Rowan Bridley chiming in on the live chat saying, Stu, where's Whitney? And Emma Pitchforth saying, come on, GB. So thank you guys for tuning in. Rowan, I'm a fair way away from whipping out Whitney, I must admit. She might come out, but the Aussies are going to have to score a goal a minute to get anywhere close to Whitney coming out here. As interestingly enough, we just sort of at the moment we're going to cut to this live feed of this amazing effort that the New Zealander under-19 ladies have put together. They've been full of promises all competition for coming up with something other than a milk crate pool noodle combo, which is essentially very lame. But have a look at this thing. It's even called Stewie, which is unbelievable. It's a blow-up, googly-eyed, smiley frog on wheels. Like it carries gear, it carries beverages and refreshments. It's got a Kiwi flag. It's got a skull and crossbones on it. It's even got floaties on the back, and it's a wooden frame of loveliness and deliciousness there, David.
Absolutely. I'm speechless. And guess what, Stewie? It's even smiling. It follows its owner. It's looking at you. It's staring you down, Stewie, right in the eye.
God,
Feel
look
the
at it.
love.
And it's even got a
Feel the love, Stewie.
They're even walking it. It's got a leash on it. Look at that thing.
I think Catalina will look at that and say, yeah, I got to put a leash on you, Stu, sir.
Yeah, probably. She's been trying for 7 years. It hasn't worked so far. It's 50 seconds counting down in this second half. The Kiwis just showing us how it's done there. Those girls are obviously going to take out this competition now with that amazing googly-eyed blow-up frog tray wheelie conglomeration of deliciousness.
Stewie.
Aptly named Stewie. That's how impressive that thing is.
That is definitely a lot of eye candy going on over there.
Yeah, that's right. It's Shane Blake saying awesome New Zealand, and Ryan Bridley saying it looks stolen. Who cares if it's stolen, Rowan? It's definitely very impressive, that's for sure.
If you haven't stolen anything wrong,
15 seconds counting down in this halftime break.
I'm told, Rowan, they went down to the op shop and put a $2 down, and they got that free.
Yeah, oh man, I'm speechless actually. I'm just going to have a little moment to myself.
Okay, while your Stuart's having a moment, 1 second to go, and second and the second half begins in this under-23s men's playoff for 5 and 6. Australia has a lead 2-0 as the Great Britain need to climb back up the mountain to get this, and I'm sure the Australians won't let it happen as we see Richard Cleary there trying to clear the puck and get it to his forwards as Richard's putting in another monumented effort again, and it's the chart is actually and he's been pushed off the puck as the Great Britain are saying, no, thank you, I'm going to try to drive it down as the Australians move it out through, looks like Mitch Piccoli there trying to find a look of players, and his center's all guarded by the stoic Joe Mosh, number 2, the captain of Great Britain as Australia. That looks like the milkman doing a nice square 45 and testing that edge, and he's sort of gotten around, but he's held the puck really nicely, and it's good to see the Australians using the width of the pool, Stuart.
Yeah, it is good to see. You could see that when they were kind of rocking and rolling, getting in and amongst it around the GB lads on this near side, they were kind of over-swimming the puck a little bit, and that was making it quite hard for them to progress forward through the very congested area that the GB lads were occupying. Once they went out the other side, as you said, Dave, Big Milk, the milkman, Tommy Milner, found a fair bit of space over there, and you can see now they've drawn the foul off the GB lads on the stretch. So that's a nice play there by the Aussies. It's going to be interesting to see what they can generate out of this advantage puck there, Dave.
Yeah, I think they need to do more of that, Stuart, and that'll get the Brits on the hop and catch and look for the spreads. I think they do more of that, but they actually have to be selective in when they turn it up and try to attack, because I think that GB defense, quite strong, quite agile, and quite moving. So they'll move across with that swim, but they need to do it quick so they get the advantage with using the milk speed.
Yeah, that's right. As you can see, the Aussies and the GBs locked in a very even contest at the moment over on that far side of the court. You know, they're essentially just on the defensive side of the Australians' half. As the live chat, good bants continues, and the GB lads getting an advantage puck here against Australia as the GB guys get a much-needed sub in there, Dave.
Yeah, as we focus in, there's Mitch McCauley there, focused totally on this game, and Cameron Loon sitting beside it. And a big shout-out to, I think it's Lester. Come on, GB. Yeah, and I really hear you, Ron. I wouldn't say a hobo. He's probably someone, looking for his home still. I
think you might be talking about me there, mate. But anyway, as we rejoin the game, just like to remind you guys tuning in from around the world and locally here in Australia, please donate to GoFundMe.com/Hobart 2017 if you've been enjoying this service. Every single cent counts as the GB guys go on a nice little drive into the centre channel at the very start of the highway to the danger zone. That's where the cops pull them up, though. That's excessive hugging there by number 10, I believe. Number 5. Not happy about that at all. He's like, look. Yeah, he was having a chinwag. He was having a bit of a chat with the refs. So obviously not happy as he just says hello to that seat next to him.
Yeah, he's got to be careful there.
Just checking that seat's there, obviously. You don't want, like a gap in between. It's always nice to check the seats there for security as the Aussies go one player up on the GB lads here, and they rock and roll that puck on the near side, then the far side there, Dave.
Yeah, well, that would the Australians were under immense pressure there by the Great Britain team, who were mounting a concerted effort to try to get one goal in and start their play back against the 2 goals Australia have them by. And the Australian player had a lovely little knockdown and tried to swim away, but unfortunately, Bill, number 5, Billy, he sort of did something the referee didn't do, and trying to attempt to sort of stop that almost breakaway goal, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. So unfortunately, Billy going to spend 2 minutes in the bin for his troubles, and the Aussie guys continuing to press that far side wall. The GB lads are being very up to the challenge, though. Australia leading this game 2-0 with only 11 minutes remaining, but the Aussies haven't really got that close to the GB goals. The last little while, as I think. I must have got that wrong. Billy was only in the bin for 1 minute. He's rejoined the game now. So good on you, Billy, if you're getting in there and getting it done. The refs have called another infringement up against the GB lads, unfortunately. Now they're contradicting each other. So it's against Australia for GB. 10.5 minutes remaining, Dave.
Yeah, and the Australians doing some late minute subbing there. Obviously, they thought they had the free puck, but it's good that they took that long to actually float and reset the other way, because the Australians were going to be caught napping, looking for the subs there, Stuart.
Yeah, I think the refs actually got a little bit hypnotised. They just noticed Stewie sitting on the side of the pool there over with the Kiwi ladies, and were just like, oh my God, that thing is glorious and delicious. As we rejoin the game, and a whole bunch of a whole bunch of stick candy being thrown down here by the Aussies and the GB guys. If you're keen on some stick candy, glove candy, head candy, hat candy, any kind of underwater hockey type candy, go to Hydro Underwater Hockey and get involved in what they've got to offer. Explore their fare because they are certainly supporting here this competition, Dave.
Yes, and yes, exactly as the Australian. It looks like Josh McKenzie, the captain, doing a nice little curl and trying to fight his way through there. Probably one of the smallest guys in the team, but I tell you what, he's probably the most determined person. He's probably the size of Eric the Elephant. We see the Brit girls usually have. And speaking of Eric, haven't seen him all day, and obviously the under-23 boys sort of disrespecting the water boy. They still got their milk crate. And I know there was a bit of a protest this morning because they actually pulled them all outside our booth here this morning, Stuart.
Yeah, I know. But, unfortunate to see that kind of, just sort of childish behaviour going around the pool. But and not unexpected for the kind of people that rock the milk crate type conglomeration. Very unimaginative from those lads. So I expect more from you, by the way, boys. You can see number 2 for GB. They're getting a sin bin. Not happy about it at all. He's got his little death stare out. He's having a look at the ref. And the coach is having a bit of a chat to them as well. Need to be careful, unfortunately, because unless you're the captain, the only person that can talk to the refs is the captain. And I believe number 2 is actually the captain. So well done, Joe, for being the person that can chat to the refs. And I think the refs have just warned the coach for chatting to them. So old Graham Fletcher there just clarifying a couple of points as this timeout by the GB lads ticks over, and they're going to go one player down for the next minute here. The Aussies again going 6 versus 5 in a very tight contest in this playoff for 5th position here, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely, and I know Joe. He puts his heart and soul on the line for this game, and obviously they were just seeking some clarification on that. They said they gave them plenty of warning on this, and Joe is signaling to his fellow teammates, "Don't worry, I'll be back in 1 minute." But he has been set down, and it is an Australian free puck as they do some sort of swan impression there, Stuart. I didn't quite get that by the Wang master. He was doing some swanny-looking thing with his fellow companions. The puck is moved wide to the other side of the wall, probably where the Great Britain want it because they can defend that. We have... Now he's got 1 minute, and he's got 1 minute less than, and we're at the 8:31 minute mark. 2 goals up Australia versus Great Britain, Stuart.
Yeah, the Aussies doing a good job of controlling this game at the moment. The GB guys haven't really pressured them in their defense for the last sort of 8 to 10 minutes, as I think the Australians are getting pinged here for excessive hugging, and the GB guys will get an advantage puck in their attacking area. So now, as I say that the Australians haven't been pressed near their goal tray, now they will be by the GB guys. They are one player down, so it will be 5 versus 6 as the referees get together and have a little bit of a refs conference, a.k.a. a reference. You can see chief referee on the pool side there, Anton, the Kiwi lad, having a chat to his in-water refs here. Over some minor points. Never really like to see these ref chats go for too long. It's important to keep the game flowing as much as possible, but obviously sometimes it's just unavoidable. So yeah, here we go, guys. 8 minutes and a bit remaining in this second half. Australia leading 2-0. The GB guys certainly are not out of it, and they are certainly starting to look a little bit dangerous in this game, David.
Yes, Stuart, they are, and I think the referees were just conferring on the escalation of the last couple of plays, and they were just checking their facts and their stats with their Crimson. As we speak, Tom Milner, the man who's designed the whole thing, the Big Milk, has been asked to sit out, just taking one for the team because the referees conferred on the escalation and how many warnings they gave each other. The desk referees are keeping tags on this, and they have it. They'll have it quite clear on what they're doing. So obviously the Australians' escalation, they had one too many, and teams at even Stevens. But I think Joe is the captain has just joined the Great Britain's deep in the Australian attack, and it looks pretty ominous for Australia, Stuart.
Yeah, they are really deep in there, Dave. And Tommy Milner sitting in the sin bin. Interestingly enough, he was actually quite a lot happier to get into that sin bin than the GB lads. Some people like sitting in there more than others. I don't really know why, but obviously the GB lads just weren't in the mood for that today. As Tommy Milner seeing out his time, just having a fat old socialise with the outer world of referee and the people on the desk. He's going to swoop down into this game and assert his big milk dominance on this match, I reckon. As just over 7 minutes remaining, the GB lads putting a fair bit of pressure on the Aussie defenders as they rock and roll on that back wall in that right-hand corner. The crowd's kind of going wild. I'm not sure if you can hear that. And if we don't have the mic set up outside getting a bit of the crowd noise, we should definitely do that as this game continues. And out the players go. I think the GB lads managed to take it off the wall there for just a second before the Aussies met them off the wall, and unfortunately in that defensive move got pulled up for a stick infringement there, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. And on cue, Sean's going to set up the mic in amongst all the other things he's doing, setting up the other cameras for the final actions. The Australians have been asked to back it up. And the milkman, yes, he is very comfortable there. I think this may be his first foul that he's actually been sit there. So he's usually out there quite often. Not often, but, he is comfortable because, he gets another chance to get a breath and get some oxygen back into those fast-turning legs. As we see number 6, Martin Turner, lying all over the barrier trying to get into that corner where the Australians are holding it at the moment. As it looks like Josh McKenzie once again is looking to drive it out. He tried to drive it out, and Richard Cleary has replaced him. And then we got the milkman's back into the water, and you can see him streaming back there. Here I come, boys. Here comes the cavalry as the captain and number 2, Joe Moss, replaces his rotations. The rotation is pretty quick from the Great Britons, and they're big boys. And as they're making a concerted drive to the 45, and I can't see who that defender was, but he got caught out by about 3 or 4 Great Britons, and the Australians are really being outmuscled and outnumbered here, Stuart.
Yeah, the GB lads are having a real crack at attacking that back wall. You could see there was only one defender from GB sitting back. There was 5 GB guys all along that wall trying to force the puck into the tray there. The Australian lads doing a good but extended job of trying to keep this puck out. They're getting a lot of pressure applied by the GB lads in and around the highway to the danger zone, and they've done a good job of getting it out to that far side there now as they proceed down that far side wall and just relieving the pressure on themselves a little bit. They're going to have to be very careful not to take their eye off the structure of these GB lads. They've definitely got a lot of energy at the moment, and those gaps can open up quickly there, Dave.
Yeah, I think the Australian number 10, that'll be Richard Cleary. He's been asked to sit for 1 minute on the bench. And 2 minutes, I'm getting my signal from my technical crew, 2 minutes from Richard. He must have done something really naughty, as he didn't do any penguin walk there. He just reached up with his long, lanky arm and just sat his butt straight down on there, Stuart.
Yeah, people with big legs like him, they don't need to penguin walk much. As you can see, the Aussies again having to defend a massive onslaught by this GB team. So GB guys obviously know that they've only got 4.5 minutes remaining to get some goals in the tin here, as the Aussies go on a very contested drive over to this near side. And unfortunately for them, they lose the possession. The GB lads try and recycle it back, but then the Aussies are quick enough to get in there with some players and push it down this near side wall. They're just out of view now, as you can see Big Milk going on a nice swim across the court there. GB lads are up to the task though as they meet him in the middle, regain possession. The buzzer is going. They're all on the surface, and it's going to be a stick infringement against GB, I think. So Big Milk drawing a foul there and just laying down some serious milk power in this game there, Dave.
Yeah, it looks like number 12, Tom Burgess, tried to intercept the Milk on his drive, and we're just getting some sounds in here that the Milk was taking orders on the sub bench as number 12 joins them. He didn't look like looking for any orders. He put his seat down. 1 minute for obstructing the Milk, making his lovely run. And then we have a timeout being called, and I'm sure that was by the Australians because I think the Brits called the original one. And Stino's in there giving the direction to the boys, this way, that way. And you can see Coach Fletcher in there, Graham. He's saying, boys, come on, let's settle this down. Let's play clean hockey because we need to keep our numbers in the pool. And he needs to keep his numbers in the pool if he has any chance of putting goals in here, Stuart.
Yeah, cool. So 5 versus 5 at the moment. 1 out for GB, 1 out for Australia. Naughty boys sitting in the sin bin. As you can see, this timeout counting down now. It is... It is Australia's free puck as they take it square over to the right-hand side, dish it out to that right winger as the right half sort of swims over there vigorously to put down some delicious support behind his player in front of him, laying down some stick candy in that far right-hand attacking corner. Richard Cleary getting a new stick delivered to him, so obviously wasn't happy with the one that he had. Maybe that's why he got chucked out, for just sort of showing a bit too much aggression towards his stick in the pool there, Dave.
Yeah, he loves his candy, and he certainly got a new one off the bench. He's probably tested the springiness of it. He designs and makes his own, and he probably just didn't like the way it felt on that, so he's called for a new one, and he had it swum over him personally and delivered. And, that's asking enough from our players. As we see, we're looking at a free puck for Great Britain, and they are going to take this puck, but they're going straight down the same side. I think if they want any chance of doing this, they got to try to open up that Australia. As both players are waiting to rejoin, so both down on the Great Britain gets 25 seconds jump on to Stewart, and Richard joins it in, so we're back at 6, Stewart.
Yeah, back 6-6, and as you can see, Australia giving ground to maintain possession here defensively. They're in their back left-hand defensive corner. They can see all those GB guys just lining up to have a crack at taking that puck down the channel along the back wall or near to it. It's quite hard to defend in there unless you've got your defensive rotation set up properly. The Aussies not doing a bad job, but you can see how desperate these GB lads are getting with only 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this game. The Australians getting a nice little flick off to the left-hand forward. Met there by the GB opponents. As I have a look at Maz Marilyn Martin just laying down some nice little stitch sessions on the Glory Days couch, getting my Kermit the Frog suit a little bit more along the way. As we see this last 2 minutes remaining in this second half of this very close game here, Dave.
Yes, and you're right. It's 2 seconds. The Great Britain man an intensive push, and they're throwing everything at it. And they got to be careful because their back line is exposed. As I say that, they rotate back to cover it, and they're doing sort of a cyclical rotation. It's not really back and forth. They're going around in a big powwow. It's like they got the wagons in a circle around the Australian wall. Unfortunately, they need to do more of that channeling into the danger zone, and I think they need to, if they're going to have any chance to score a goal, as you see, he's driving 45. He needs to take that further out and try to draw all the defense out to get in behind the Australians, Stuart.
Yeah, mate, they seriously do need to take it on the highway to the danger zone, and it's seriously time for the GB lads to basically just say, sorry, Goose, but it's time to buzz the tower. They've got 1 minute and 7 seconds remaining, so it definitely is time for those guys to put on something serious here. So you can see them vigorously trying to attack through this Australian defensive structure. There's a lot of GB guys on the bottom. The Aussies, desperately trying to keep that puck out. It's a serious competition as we see the last 50 seconds of this game play out. The Aussies getting a good little push here down this near side wall underneath their sub bench. You can see a rotation happening there, and the second Aussie and the third Aussie coming in to just plug that hole up and try and keep these GB lads out. They all know how much time they've got remaining, and a very nice contest playing out here in these last 30 seconds of the contest, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. The Australians were a bit under pressure, as you see number 2 captain Josh McKenzie leading from the front by taking a huge swim up to the side and to clear the puck out the front. So then we have the play going to the middle of the place. We're down in the last 15 seconds to go in this game, and it looks like the Australians, as we got a gloving call against the Great Britain, everyone shrugs their heads and say, oh, we should have done something better, but I say it's too late. It's too late, my friends, as the clock stops in the last 2 minutes, folks, so there is 15 seconds left. The clock you see counting up is because we had to stop time. Only on goals does the clock not stop. So as the clock regains with 10 seconds to go, the Australians got it exactly where they want it, the other end of the pool, and they're putting on a big push, but the Great Britons have cleared it out to the ball, Stuart.
Yeah, so unfortunately the GB lads just not able to come up with the kind of fly-past tower buzz that they really needed in this game to bring it back even. The Aussies winning this one. They're going to take 5th spot in this competition, 2-0. A very hard-fought win for the Australians. Well done to those lads for stamping their authority and playing their plan in this game. And commiserations and a very big congratulations to the GB lads for pulling off 6th spot in this very highly contested under-23 men's division. And, credit to all of these competitors as they cheer each other, give each other a handshake, a little bit of a pat on the back. And it's awesome to see these guys in the pool swimming hard and really enjoying this competition for what it is. So please, if you like this comp, get on to GoFundMe.com/ Hobart 2017. Chuck a couple of bucks in there. Thank you, New Zealand under-19 girls, for showing us that glorious googly frog tray gear, wondrous, delicious thing. And thank you for joining me here in Commentary Box, Dave.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, and I'm sorry, folks, we won't be able to bring you interviews because, as you know, we had a few games that went into overtime, so we have to give the teams 4 minutes to get into their sits, and we got the tech box needs to do exactly the same. So I'm calling it back here, and we'll get back to you in a few games. Cheers, Stuart.
See you on the pool deck soon, guys. Cheers.